What's up?
It is still Scorpio season.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
And Big Daddy has a sad story to report.
What?
I haven't got a tank of pussy. Not a tank of pussy. The whole goddamn season.
Clearly, you have tuned in to the Sace and Soulfly show.
You know how we jump into it.
If you didn't know where you was, you know now.
You already know. We got some dope individuals with us this evening.
We're
we
so
have
excited.
A brother and a sister. I got Cigapom next to me.
Good evening.
Yes.
Buenos noches.
And my great friend now, Sace calls you Cho, and I always call you Choke. You know, so
It's choke.
It's choke. My bad. Where you had spread it out.
But what we see, what happened was Facebook don't like you to have one name, so you gotta spread it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So first name Choke, last name K.
Oh, so I've been calling you choke.
But you know,
Some people do that too. They put the, they do the Tarjay at the end.
Okay.
Chokey, that's what y'all call it. So
well,
because our
that's-
guests happen to actually know each other, which is super fucking cool.
Yeah.
So from DC,
DMV area.
DFW.
yes, and all of us got connected. So we're excited. We're going to further introduce our guests because they are both super dope humans.
Yeah. Awesome.
And
awesome.
into some great artistic things, among other topics. And but we're going to hop into some general topics and invite our guests, of course, to join us like we do. So our first topic, as per usual,
relationships. Because I be in some shit.
Don't mind me.
I don't understand how I got in the shit.
Choke is
Because I
making
be in relationship shit and I ain't even in a relationship. So how the fuck did this happen?
Listen, it be like that sometimes, Sacer.
So my question, when you're dating, you know what I'm saying? Would you go, since you're already married, it look like you already entangled over here. Would you go on a dating show, since all the dating shows have been popular here on Netflix, to find your true love? Is that something that you would do?
me?
Yeah.
Yeah, answer that question.
If you didn't have the lovely Belle.
I don't watch some of them with my wife.
Yeah.
Some of them come off a little extra, and some come off a little weird. And knowing me and my Virgo vibes, I be sitting in like oops, I was about to cuss.
Oh, you can
okay,
cuss.
we cuss.
I was about
we
to
cuss.
fuck around
Right.
on 33rd and 5th. I don't know, because even though I'm like how I just had that extrovert moment, I'm also an introvert.
Yeah.
And if like you can't match both of those, I don't know. And there'd be a lot of people that's just extra, but at the same, like I said, it's weird, but I'm also outspoken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah, but what about you, Choke? Would you go on a dating?
No.
I think I would definitely do it though.
I'm not an actress, so I can't fake the phone.
You ain't finna fake the front.
Nah.
Yeah.
And my face is to say it all. Like, I just, no.
Yeah.
First off, I don't even know how to do all that.
I just had to realize that. No, I just had to realize something. And I'm not trying to be. Yes, I have had situations with people outside of my race when I was growing up in high school. But
So you done dated a white woman?
Plenty. No,
That face.
if it ain't a melanated sister though, I don't care if you like Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Or you know, Cuban, you can be Haitian, I need my skin tone.
Yeah.
Or close to, or people that's in that realm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I
feel
mean?
you.
I can't, only
No.
vanilla I like.
no
It's like
immigration.
What's that one? What's that show?
Yeah,
It's
like,
called
I'm not-
Love-
I
what
don't
is
have-
it called?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind.
Oh,
Yeah. They've been wilding out.
That's been a
yeah,
mess.
and I have family members that have,
Have you
interracial
seen it?
relationships and marriages. Yeah.
Love is Blind?
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
what I'm
God,
saying.
what a
Like,
mess.
I don't.
But I like the way they do the show, but it's kind of like the marriage joint they did, or I think the best one is when they dress up like animals or some shit, and then you gotta like
Furries.
yeah, I forget what it is. It's on Netflix, and you like they give them like pure prosthetics and everything, and they're like, get to know my personality instead of my looks. And it's kind of like, I get the premise of that.
Yeah,
but
that's a whole fetish though.
I'm just saying, what if I fall in love with an ugly bitch? I don't know her personally yet, but what if she ugly on the other side of that?
I just
and
feel
then
like
I fell in love.
I
but
definitely
then,
feel like physical attraction is a thing. It's definitely not everything, because I've fallen for people who I normally like right off sight didn't find necessarily very attractive.
Yeah.
So I've done that before, but it's a process.
I told you, being a resident lesbian, I'm gonna look back in the camera. I told y'all I have done all that I can do for the community with the ugliest. Okay, listen, no, because at this point in life, my friends and family actually say what they mean on their mind. They don't sugarcoat nothing. But I think a lot of these shows are also meant to fail. Like,
oh God, yes, it's about drama.
Well,
They're about drama.
how long have you guys been? You know, you got Carson over here has been married. You're married. How long are you guys in these relationships, and you're still day to day, even today, still learning about that person, and they're expecting you to do this in
that's a good question.
a couple months?
I definitely think the problem is with our community.
Mm-hmm.
Here, pass it down.
With our community,
Want some tea?
Thank you.
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of us grow up and don't question their traumas before they get in a relationship.
Right.
And the hardest question that I've heard is, okay, for the females, you want to be someone's girlfriend, then you want to be someone's wife. But do you actually have the mental capacity and the space to learn how to be someone's girlfriend or wife? Because everyone is different.
I mean, nobody's taught this.
And
though.
yeah,
Nobody's
ain't no
taught
book.
how to-
I'm saying.
Nobody's taught how to date. Like
That's why
literally,
I'm
no
putting
one's
it out
taught how
there.
to date.
I'm definitely putting it out there
That
now
is true.
because
Literally, nobody's learned how to date.
because of the trauma that I had as a child.
Yeah.
I end up being like super promiscuous with women. Straight to the point. This is what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Trying to get to know you.
yeah, or I'm really trying to, which I never had a problem saying, but it was just like I had to find that there was a lot of women, like where we're from.
Yeah.
There is a lot of women that have the expectations of what their father didn't do, and they apply it to the man. And some don't know they're really doing it, and some do know that they're doing it. But
there's a lot.
it's
I mean,
a lot of
we
lines
have
that
a lot
we have
to grow through.
Yeah, that we have to cross.
As people, just in general, there's a lot of still therapy that needs to be had, shadow work.
I do take that. I'm not gonna lie.
I missed my therapy appointment this week, man. I was working, but I can say this to your point though. Even though there is like going to be trauma behind, I think, everybody's life in a sense.
Absolutely.
However,
liquid flowers.
then you still have things that were good that we learned. You know what I'm saying? Ain't it good?
It's delicious.
Ain't it good?
The tea is delicious.
Okay, let's pause and let's find out what's in the tea.
Quick break.
As I got older, I like teas with
Quick
not too
break
much
in
sugar,
the-
unless we making the lemon bombs when you're
Yeah.
sick or something.
No.
This is delicious.
I
Please
love
tell
the
us. So,
straight tea.
Choke,
So I brought some tea.
she brought tea.
I was asked to bring some tea.
She's an herbalist.
This is, I call it liquid flowers.
Liquid flowers.
This is jasmine. I think you need to try some over there.
You got it.
Yeah,
He said
I'm
okay,
with it.
but-
No, you asked me twice. I'm
Right.
Like it's mad delicious. It's mad delicious, and it's mad light too. Like
Right, it's really light.
Pass it
But it's
along.
flavorful as hell.
It's so good.
let me-
It's jasmine and
And green tea.
green tea.
So like they literally take the jasmine flowers with the green tea and roll it into balls.
Nice.
So it's essence.
and it's
Love it.
beautiful.
I'm
It's
rocking
beautiful.
with it.
Right?
I'm rocking with it.
So let's-
a hot cup. too.
Let's hop
About
into
a
this
5
other
cup.
relationship question, which is one that I really, really love.
Yeah, which one is that?
What was the biggest lesson from your worst breakup? I think this is huge. So anyone answer first. Jump into that.
Definitely
Y'all don't
can.
want the Scorpio to answer first. I wait on y'all.
We know
Got a
you're a
lot of-
recovering
got a lot
hoe.
of
It's fine.
breakups.
See, and I wasn't like. It's interesting that you say that. Like, so my own personal experience was like, I was super extra mega picky because I had 2 uncles who passed away of AIDS.
Yeah.
So I was always really, really, really conscious about like, I need to get them papers. I gotta see you a clean bill of health, and so it's like very. Plus, on a spiritual tip, it's very, very, very. It's,
Yeah.
The energies
sacred. So
intertwined,
it's
yeah.
like so it's only been like a few folks.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I've ever crossed these lines
Right.
and boundaries, but
But what would you say out of being picky? What caused
What's
you
the
to like
greatest
kind of
lesson?
what?
I don't even
what was
think
the
it's
greatest?
picky. I think it's just
Yeah.
just me being like really thoughtful.
But what have you learned after, let's say, one of your more meaningful relationships?
Or shitty ones, I mean.
Or
Yeah, the shitty one.
like impactful. What was a great lesson that came from it?
Well, I think like with this last one, we already knew up front. Like I'm from up north. He was from down here. We were like two different. We came from two different spots. So
Yeah.
in order to understand that, like you just have to really get to know what their upbringing was like and what their perspectives are on all the things, and then like suggest therapy, because you're gonna run into stuff and you're gonna need to have those buffers, and you're gonna need to have like some kind of understanding of how to deal with it, because if you coming from DC and coming down south, it's two different worlds.
Yeah.
Like how
Different temperament.
Like it's not. It's just how we
Everything.
talk.
It's
Like
just
I'm
how-
from the East Coast, so I naturally talk aggressive. Like I'm
Right.
like this, but I ain't mean no harm to you.
Right.
It's like
Exactly.
What about you, Doe?
even the feminine women that walks the street with the heels and all that. Like, who the fuck is you talking to, nigga?
Yeah, mad aggressive.
Fuck you, boy, bitch ass nigga. I call my brother, kill your bitch. Like, nah, for real. That's, yeah,
Aggressive.
and it was like that in the 80s because I watched my aunts and all of them be aggressive. I actually watched my aunt on my father's side, my Dominican side, like knock niggas out, just all her boyfriends. Yeah, like. Yeah, I look sweet, but I got a nice 2-piece and no biscuits.
Yeah, I mean, so like
For real.
problem solving, I think it's just like
Is the lesson.
is the big lessons. I think
Yeah,
that's
address-
all.
and
That's,
understanding
that's
how
in
to communicate.
communication. Yeah,
And
literally.
pause.
That's the biggest thing.
I
about
do
you,
have
Doe?
a great therapist. If any of you need one here in Dallas.
Also,
I like my
Oh, he's
therapist.
awesome.
Me and her been
he,
rocking strong.
he went to college in Howard in the crack epidemic
Oh wow.
in DC, so he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You saw
love
some
that's
things.
But the worst breakup, it told me to stop expecting me from relationships and people. Because I don't have to know you, and I got a generous heart. But the minute that I need you and I can't get that generosity back, and it don't have to be the same thing, like you're paying me or owe me, but it's like, okay,
That
damn, it's the what do you call that? The disappointment. So I stop expecting things from people, whether
Yeah.
it's musically, whether it's my art, or just talking or communicating, or you know what I mean. Like it's just, yeah. I mean, even at one point we was thinking about moving here away, because I really moved back for a lot of emotional and mental support.
Back to here.
Yeah,
Down here. Oh,
because
okay.
everybody, as soon as I left, my close ones was like, man, just come back. When I came back, I hardly saw some of them.
Wow.
I've been in the hospital literally since I've been here in January. I got back in January. I've been in the hospital probably 12 or 11 times already
Oof.
Yeah.
because of my situation. I have having kidney disease and being on dialysis, and I'm going through, my body's going through a lot of changes. You know what I mean? I'm in pain right now. You know what I'm saying? So from having this thing called, I forgot what they call it, but it's like having calcium pockets when your phosphorus is high, eating certain things. And so, yeah, it's like, but life is teaching me, even with that, life is teaching me a lesson to have a better relationship with myself. You know what I'm saying? So loving yourself ain't all about getting your feet and your nails done. And,
Right.
you know, it's really about addressing the shit that you don't want to.
Yeah.
And
No,
I
that's
started
right.
doing that younger. I used to really look in the mirror
Yeah.
and like, for anybody to say, "Oh, you a fat motherfucker," I'll call myself that. So when I get it, I'll say a person thank you. Because at the end of the
that's
way,
a special skill.
it's-
that
it's-
Yeah, it
people
is,
don't
for sure.
have, just to go like head. I mean, I do it too. Any of the hard conversations, bring it on. Like it's all we got to do
and
is
doing
talk
it with
about
a partner, boy,
Yeah.
oh, that brings a whole different level, because now you're
some
trying to
people don't
handle
want to.
yours and hers, or whatever the situation
Yeah.
you'd like to be in, and you got to address both traumas in the mirror.
It's true.
Yeah. What about
And
you,
it's shit
Keish?
crazy.
Greatest lesson learned, probably along those same lines, I think, is to to understand that I have to have someone who adds unto me. You know what I'm saying? Like I am literally, I understand about myself, especially now that I am good with myself, and that is a blessing, right? So I'm good with myself, so anyone that comes along cannot be detracting. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to address the red flags immediately. Like at this big age, I don't skate around things. If something pops up that doesn't make me feel good in my soul, we're going to talk about it immediately. And then not just that, we're not just going to talk about it, but if we can't come to an understanding about it, then I'm good with letting go right then and there. Like I don't waste, I just don't feel like I have, I don't want to waste the time. I feel like I have plenty of time. Yeah. I'm not going to waste any of it.
Well, I won't give y'all the Scorpio version.
Tell us.
I would say it's just about me learning how to forgive myself. I have a bad habit of punishing myself for doing, saying, experiencing whatever the situation is, and you stay in situations longer than you should have because you're feeling unworthy of it. So it was finding. Like the biggest lesson was finding the worth. Like most people don't know the shit that I go through. They would think that you are the picture of fucking confidence, but you know, when you wake up in the morning and you got to go through all of these different struggles, as Doe says, you know, from whatever, it could be in the music, it could be at my job, it could be in my relationship, because relationships is everywhere. That's our work nature too. And you're trying to find, where is my worth? Where is my value? And why do we have these connections to stay? As you're saying, hey, I'm at this big age, I got to move when I see the red flags. But a lot of us are seeing the red flags and we're like, a parachute. We're looking at the red flags like, I thought it was a slide. Like we're literally,
it's a festival.
I just thought that was her color. I didn't know. So I think one of those things is, learning your worth, and also learning that you have to forgive yourself for sometimes being your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
So I would say that, and then we're just gonna go ahead and move right along to if they white.
They might.
They motherfucking might.
We can go so many ways with this, but we know what we about to head right now.
Y'all boy is running again.
Trumpy Trump. No. Trumpy Trump back in the news.
Like he was so smooth with it. Like he said, "Fuck y'all" when he left. I'm a thank you so much. He said, "Fuck y'all" when he left. Didn't even say goodbye.
Right.
And then said,
well, he kind of got put off the platforms, so he didn't want to say goodbye. He was kind of forced.
To, but still, he went missing for the majority of the time. Like he hasn't said shit, and then he pops up like,
"I'm running,
yo,
I'm running."
And
bitch.
then the Republicans is like, "We cool with that."
Listen, who knows what's gonna happen? I have several different views, and I have a lot of friends who are definitely going to vote for Trump, and that's an odd thing to say, right?
I mean, but considering our odds, we like, oh no.
Listen,
but y'all want to know?
Like I ain't never been a big Biden fan. That's number one. I didn't vote for him, but whatever. I didn't vote for Trump either, but that's neither here nor there. But I haven't taken a dive enough to really recall the things over the presidency that did happen. He was a man of action. He was an equal opportunity asshole.
Yeah, I mean that's all you can ask.
Like whoever he was in a picture with, he would do something for them. You know what I'm saying? And then when they leave the picture, he would say something crazy about them. He did it to everybody.
I think the only thing scary.
I like how he bucks the system, but besides that, I think he's a lunatic.
That's what I was about to talk about. Not him being a lunatic, but what he did in DC was dangerous.
Oh my God, it was so dangerous.
And what's lucky, he's lucky that all those old school, old head OGs that are still locked up did not have a chance to witness that.
Yeah,
that would have been a blood wash. That would have been a blood wash.
Yeah,
them niggas from Northeast, Uptown, Southwest, and Southeast would have got on that train. Because where we live at, you can get to all of those barrels in one train.
I just don't think black people gave it. I think we all sat back with our popcorn.
Well, in DC,
yeah,
we're like, let's watch this shit.
I think what's weird about it, because
this shit burn
in DC, what we have noticed since even a child,
right?
We don't watch them because they live in our backyard, but they watch us not do anything because they riding right past us. And that's just what it is.
That's the only thing I'm afraid of with Trump is that he is so reckless that we could go to war.
No, he's gonna be careful
just because
this time.
he said some dumb
he's
shit.
He's gonna be careful this time because that's the thing about it. Once he realized what he is surrounded by, I think he'll calm down. But even though there's a lot of gentrification, so he has a safe point. But however, like I said, right behind the White House is a crack house and it's a hood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right by
like
the Capitol, there's a hood right behind that, right there in South.
So how you feel about old Trumpy Trump, Mr. Oompa Loomp running again?
I don't mind him because he don't pay my bills.
Start the whole thing over. Just push reset on the whole system.
On the whole government.
Burn the whole system down.
Yes.
I don't want none of it. I don't want that.
Me
I don't want none of this.
I mean,
that's why I tap out often.
And when we go,
and truthfully, if we want to be technical,
yeah,
having a government is really against the law. But we'll talk about that on the
yeah, we don't want to go too deep in the waters.
Paying mortgage is against the law.
You know,
to a certain
we don't want to get too deep in the waters, but since we own if they white, they might. I'm gonna throw this one in on if they white, they might. Kanye.
Oh my God, please.
Me being a former
come on, Carson.
I'm so tired of hearing this argument.
Lord.
I've seen people like really going at each other online about this, like really like taking sides.
I've had a couple of conversations.
And I don't understand it
because that's the idiocy of people taking social media so technical.
That's a fact.
They take the content out of context, and that's just what it is. Outside of that, I don't know the man. I don't know the brother. I can't. I can pray for him, but outside of that, I really think he needs to get some type of help.
Right. Just a hug, something.
You know, one thing we know in DC, there is truly an elite club in this world.
Did you watch Chappelle? Did you watch the Chappelle joint?
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it.
You have to see it.
There's really an elite club out here operating.
That run
there
shit.
are real Manchurian candidates. If you ever seen that movie, like.
Listen, all that shit is real. All that shit is true.
This shit is real, man. The stuff that we see in movies.
Too much that was a lie. This is my opinion. The way he said it, the way he delivers is on some wild shit. Understood.
But it's still his opinion.
I wouldn't follow him nowhere. It is. I wouldn't follow him or Kyrie nowhere. They're not my idols or nothing like that. They also have an opinion and they should be able to state their opinion because they really didn't say nothing that would constitute being punished the way that they are being punished. I'm sorry. And they said some shit that was actually true.
Yeah, and like with the situation with Kyrie, like when you look at everything they wanted to take from him without the apology, without this whole list of shit, and it just came from a post. It's like, dude, first of all, the movie's years old. Second of all, why y'all pissed off that we're getting information about who we are? Never mind, we ain't gotta answer that. We know why. You don't want us to know. You don't want us to question it.
I think Kyrie's situation is different from Kanye's because he's not necessarily spewing out anything that's anti anything.
Right. He just
they've made it clear. I think Kanye's stance is weird because you fought so hard to be in the company and the presence of these people. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're running from them and you want us to run with you. But before it was just you and I'm with Balenciaga and I'm with the owner of this and I'm the next this. Yeah. And all these people you were looking up to were Jewish white people.
Oh right. Yeah.
I mean,
but he said that. Right. He said as much. He said he's jealous that they have the power that they have and he wants some.
Brought it up that way because as a child, the reason why I didn't really get into the whole Christianity thing, I used to watch my parents smoke crack and go to church the next day. So I'm sitting there like, I definitely know this white blue eyed motherfucker. I used to say that in my head, like, excuse me, God, but that ain't you. I just know that ain't you. And then I started digging because I went into a real rabbit hole. And people, there is a thing called a rabbit hole when it comes to information. And
yes, it is. Lord knows.
And when I got into the Judea Torah, like, that is clearly a black book.
Right.
And what's so crazy is some of these white Jews do walk around knowing exactly who they come from. Because to have pigmentation, you have to have this here on this earth first before it starts breaking down to anything.
Exactly.
So everybody
like
knows
a lot of
that.
things are
That's
backed
why
by
it feels
science,
like it's
like
dark.
modern science. It ain't that hard to
look
find.
at it. It's darker longer than the daytime.
Yeah.
Facts.
So a lot of people don't pick up on that, but I knew that Jewish, and then that's the thing.
Jewish.
Like, listen, how can you be a Jew but you're Jewish? That you're not like sort of Jew-ish, like Spanish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we know the West African Moors are the ones that taught the Spaniards how to speak Spanish because we have Latin in our tongue already, just like Italian, just like a lot of people don't know Africans taught Russian. Even the hats with all of the and that look like big bushes, is because the Africans had hair to cover themselves like that, and they the white folks end up making hats.
Yeah.
Just like Hitler knew who the real people was.
Everybody came from black people. I don't understand what the big problem is. Like, everybody came from Africa.
Came from my daddy nuts.
And I gotta find
That's where I came
The
from.
modern humanoid came from Africa. Like,
and I gotta find this video for
proven.
y'all where there's a black man talking to a whole bunch of Jews. Like, y'all guys are not Jews until y'all start returning your actual people back home, because even also in Jerusalem, how all of a sudden everybody was dark in the book, and now all of a sudden y'all white. You tell y'all to return our actual people there, y'all gonna always catch hell somewhere down the line. And that man went missing. So that's why I say, there's higher, but living in DC, you can see it.
I think you can see it. I think you can see it in a lot of different places. I still will say one of the blackest places I've ever like visited and actually love going to is parts of LA, because you see what we see in Hollywood on TV, and then you go to these areas. My homegirl lives out there where they do the drums or whatever on the weekend or whatever they be doing, and you see culture, you see what we look like if we were to win. And I think what's one of the most frustrating things for me is like, we want to be this, we want to get the knowledge, we want to be exactly who we're supposed to be, but it's so fucking difficult because, like you say, if we get too knowledgeable, we become a major fucking threat,
a target.
You know,
if we're, you know, like yourself, Choke, you are letting us know, hey, there's a different way to heal yourself. Take a look at these herbs. This is what you need to be looking at. I mean, and as we're even sitting here, you're serving this tea that's for certain making us all feel better instead of the libations that we are normally drinking. You know what I'm saying? So they don't want us to know any of this shit. And the moment that any of our people stand up and say, this is what it is, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But on the flip side,
that's why it's really important to travel.
Yeah,
that's why it's so important to get out. You gotta get out and
you
see
stay
the world.
traveling.
Oh man, I stay out.
There's so many healing herbs outside of this country now.
It's not even just about the herbs. It's just about returning back to yourself. You get to see how we actually live out in the world. It ain't this. It ain't this. It ain't this.
So what have you learned? You know, let me just pivot right there. What have you learned on your travels?
Wow. I've learned my whole life. I've learned how to live my entire life. You know, based on traveling. You know, I left school, I don't know, like 16, maybe sooner. As soon as I could, I was out, you know, and I've been traveling ever since then. And, you know, I didn't go to school like that. So my institution, my schooling was traveling the world and traveling the nation and seeing, you know, just learning. And thankfully, because I'm from where I'm from, I have those skills to observe, adapt really quickly, you know, just kind of have that armor to be able to be in interesting situations and not fuck up. You know, I don't go out into the world and do dumb shit. Yeah, you know, you don't go.
Just got up and leave.
Yeah, I just roll out.
DC that has never even been.
Well, that's
Maryland.
but see, okay, so and that's part of that's part of it, right? I was just talking to my homeboy here at Ed the other day or yesterday about how, you know, literally everywhere I've ever lived at, there are people who most people have never left.
Right.
And they won't. You know, they're born and raised in one spot, and that's just where they'll be. And it's interesting for me traveling and moving. Like, I'm usually the exotic animal that's moving into this new spot, and I'm disrupting the general flow because everybody there has been born and raised in that spot, you know? So I get to see kind of like what things are and how I get to pick up really the general energy of a place because I'm coming from a zoomed out perspective. And I get to see that like every city, every town, everything has its own little vibration. Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Oakland, San Francisco, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, DC, Maryland, Baltimore. I mean, like all these little micro, it's villages. They're little tiny villages and little tiny tribes of people and how they talk, and it varies across. I mean, it is so much. Yeah. But when I go out into the world, that's when I really get to see like, you know, just like last week, I was sitting there with the elders, and they were making tortillas. They were you know, doing the masa from scratch. They were grinding down the herbs to make tea, and we were doing cacao ceremony, and you know, blessing the food using nature. They were carving the stones, like doing looms and making their fabrics that were grown on the animals out in the yard, like. You know, you get to see the really how we live. Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. You know, you come back changed. And you know, you come back understanding that this here that we live in the US is not that. Right. It's not what we have to remove ourselves so we have a better perspective, so that we know that like there are other ways to think about issues. And I think that, you know, that back to like the relationship thing is kind of like it's hard to be with someone who doesn't have an open mind and accepting those other perspectives, right? Because they literally don't have it because they've never seen it. So it's really important for me to be able to be with somebody who has an open mind and is willing to accept and go see it with me, so that they can kind of understand, you know. Because it's important. Hell for me. Yeah, it's important. It's important. But growing up in DC though was dope because we had all the embassies there. So you have like I mean, well, I mean, yeah, but no, but
way too many murders and crackheads. But I get what you're saying.
I get it.
On the other side of Northwest,
right? But once you get out and you start traveling around, the understanding is DC is like the center of the planet, right? So like literally, there's people from all over the planet there. And their embassies are there. You got all the different types of foods, and you know it's really cultured there. Yeah, it's very cultured there. So if you're willing to actually even explore within your own city, at least there, you can try all the cuisines, and you get to kind of see these microcosms of people.
I want to bring up, just based on what Choke just said about traveling. I think it's extremely important for people who are open-minded and want to open themselves up, like you're saying, to get out of the United States, because then you also get to see how much propaganda is actually fed to us about these places. And just as an example, one of my really good friends he lived here most of his life, but he's from Ghana, but he travels all over the place. And he said one of his top places that I should absolutely go to is Vietnam. When you think about Vietnam from an American perspective, it's still jungle. And this, that, and the other. He said it's one of the most amazing places that you can go, period. And he's been all over the world. And it just goes to show how much shit we're fed to keep us in this little bubble that can be well controlled and well managed.
I think it's kind of weird. I think it starts with your parents. Like, you know, you don't stay too far away from the house, and you come in the house where the lights come on. That's their own fear. Because I'm not gonna lie, growing up in DC, and I also grew up in Maryland. Because both of my parents at one time, my father was sneaking and bought an apartment in DC too, like off and on. So I'll be going back and forth. But I used to be very surprised, you know, you usually leave the house and you're like, oh, the barbershop's right there. I mean, because everything is convenient. Like Dallas would lose their minds the minute they all had to move to DC and like, damn, everything is right here. Like, right, but you gonna pay for that convenience a little bit now. Right. However, it was just, you know, I can go get
around here.
It's things that you guys don't eat, but y'all would think it's something from like when I say, oh, I want a fish sub, oh, a po' boy, I'm like, Nah, you don't know. You don't know.
Listen. When I told people that you could fry scallops, and it was like I had spoken a foreign language. I was like, y'all don't just go to the fish joint and just fry some whitening up. Y'all don't, it's not a thing for you.
Just like seafood.
Yeah,
New
that's
Orleans,
normal shit for us.
New Orleans really think, or down here, like, oh, y'all don't really got seafood. Like, we're really by the water.
Right.
DC and in Maryland. So you want the crawfish? We can definitely get it. You want a real blue crab? Come on up here. We got you. Crab cakes, all that. Like,
let's jump in.
The thing that I learned living in that that hood mentality is, like she said, once I started going on the other side of Connecticut Avenue, Northwest, and like, damn, these embassies, and I'm like, oh damn, they got this salad place called Chopped, and they got smoothies and acai bowls, and I'm like,
I mean, but not just that. You got like your Vietnamese, you got your Sri Lankan food, you got your Indian food, your Afghani food,
and most of your parents gonna be like, I'm not eating that shit.
Right. But everybody know our staple really is steak and cheese or fried wings or mumbo sauce. That's.
I got some mumbo sauce in my fridge right now.
So once I started traveling too, I was like, okay, this is where education really begins.
It does.
And like emotionally,
outside of your neighborhood.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's also education for the people, because like my first time going to Mexico in Isla Mujeres, and I'm like, babe was like, I already know what you about to do. You about to fuck these people head up. Because everything I'm doing, I'm speaking in Spanish to them. And they sitting there. I had one dude, the bartender, he kept looking at his skin like, like he's black.
Yeah.
Sitting there like, most of the real Dominicans before the French came in, it was dark skin.
Black. Yeah.
I mean, the island is connected to Haiti. And Haiti, most of Haitians spoke Spanish too because of the Latin into the patois. They go. Anyway, but it was like, it was so amazing to see, like, these motherfuckers would never get over on me. Cause for real, even down here, I've been in school with some of the Mexican kids who be talking, and I ain't talk all year in Spanish. And they done pissed me off. Cállate de la boca todo and siéntate. Like, and they sitting there like,
like
you don't understood what I said.
What did we say before?
Oh, bro, one of the Spanish kids was like, "Oh, yo, we fucked up, Holmes. We fucked up. Like, hey, y'all was talking about me the whole time. Go deep through this and go deep through that. Not knowing I'm knowing exactly what y'all saying. Different is I just didn't want to be ignorant. Because Caribbean Spanish people, Puerto Ricans, we say some ignorant shit to you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like most Mexicans, they curse. You know what I'm saying? Chinga and cabron and nigga, you'll get puñeta. Like when a nigga call you a puñeta, oh boy,
that shit cuts like a knife.
That's like
I never wanted to hear my mom say that.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
puñeta.
So that we know.
Basically, like you a bitch. You coochie lips. In Puerto Rico and DR, certain parts, like puñeta.
As the resident lesbian, when you say I'm coochie lips. You knew I was gonna catch that piece of it, and I mean that's a nice insult for me.
Right, but calling a dude,
you're like, yep, right up in there.
Yeah, calling a dude. Just like most of the women of the Caribbean, when they call you a cabron, it's more like you a cheater.
Okay, let's move from that topic because other people is gonna be in my comments.
I want to talk a little bit, just based on timing here, Doe, about what you have been facing as far as the kidney disease and how you have been pushing through that to still create. How has that? Because you're very, very much. If people follow you on social media, which you should be following him because he's a dope ass artist, but also you're very transparent. You're very transparent about what you go through. So how has that? How has that been for you, just in general, and how has that affected your creativity?
Oh boy, try not to get emotional.
It's all right, we got you right
here.
We family.
It's just been the first time where I really openly spoken about it. People follow my journey when I moved here. Yes, I lost 250 pounds. I lost some of it back home before I got here. I think I lost
it's just the teapot.
Yeah, I think I lost the rest of like the 160, 170-ish when I moved here. There was a part of time where back and forth, being almost 500 pounds. Of course, diabetes was coming into the play, even though sometimes it's not about the food, it's how you treat yourself. The vibration you put in yourself can give you cancers, it can give you diseases, but also a lot of people know when you live in a traumatic household and it's been deeply, like every traumatic test that I've taken, like far as abuse and all of that, whatever type of abuse, not just getting beat up, like I've been through a lot of different types of abuse. My score always came 10 out of 10. Like I said, I grew up in I call it a crack house, but my house was always clean because my parents was functional crackheads. They made sure that they went to work to keep this, unless my father was out there hustling. But there was hella abuse. There was times cops used to come in my house and ask who died, and it's really my mother over there leaking from my father beating her, breaking her ribs, arms. Like, I've seen it. He didn't, threaten to pull guns out on us. He has pulled guns out on me, waking me up out my sleep. I've had my body rammed through a wall, slamming me. Like, I didn't go through the just belt abuse, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that can be abusive too. But all of that trauma, I found comfort sometimes, and just because it also started in football, finding comfort in food. And then you're eating from DC. Like I said, back then, oh man, you can get a 5-piece with fried rice and French fries and mumbo sauce for like $6.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You can get the steak and cheese with the fries and a drink for $5.50. You know what I'm saying. So it was like, I'm going to the corner store instead of going here. And your grandparents didn't tell you about vegetables. There's always cooked vegetables. I never knew nothing about raw vegetables and just eating broccoli the way it is. But I love celery. But I'm like, this is the only thing. Not knowing I love cucumbers raw and zucchinis and now. But how it really got it started, I went to Amarillo, Texas. I had to go out there and do some stuff for my family. And as I was in the hotel, I'm counting, all this money up, and I'm sitting there like, yo, I can't breathe. Every time it just feel like it's taking something from me. And when I exhale, so it's like double, no breath. So I try to lay down, and I'm waking my wife up like, babe, I don't feel good. I really can't breathe. And she's the type of person, when she sleep, leave the bear alone. And she's like, just go to the hospital. And I'm saying like, I gotta, bitch, I gotta look up a hospital. They out in Amarillo, by no further from Cadillac Ranch, where all the Cadillacs are at. I'm like, all right, I found one. Went there. The dude was like, oh my God, oxygen supposed to be like 97 and up. I was like, brother, you had 92. And that's not good. And he just kept hearing me. He said, this is CHF. And already I knew congestive heart failure. I said, okay. So I already know. I started addressing all of that. Is from the food and the grease and da-da-da-da-da. And like, you know what I'm saying? So came home. On my way, we stopped in Clarendon, Texas. This is the actual story. I was like, Clarendon, Texas got this gas station. When I tell you, the chicken tastes like back home.
Don't you start
like
me.
Back home. Them white people, boy. So we stopped. Got our chicken. I said, all right, I'm done. Went home. I'm talking about just salmon and salads for months. And then after that, I got into it with Vinny.
Yes.
Saw you doing that.
Remember, you lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, I was like, Vinny, I'm gonna promise you something. What you're gonna do for me is just recycle my brain, because I played football, I boxed, I did karate, I did taekwondo, and I played football in high school as well. So he just got to working out, and even my clothing that I had on, man, you wanted to take this big ass hoodie off, bruh. And I'm like, man, I used to box. There's reasons why I'm dressed like this while I'm working out. All right, man, it's gonna take some time losing weight. 2 months, I lost 80 pounds.
Wow.
Just eating salmon, salads. But my kidney failure just kept progressing. Because when I moved here, I found out I was at like stage 2, then went into 3. And he was like, once you go to 4 and then 5, it's like end stage renal disease. And I'm like, all right. And I noticed my doctor, every time I turn around, I'm sorry, this bitch was trying to prescribe me medicine. Not knowing my dad is my dad, her dad, I can't call him Mr. My dad, my papi, like, he's a doctor. So he's telling me, like, medicine is just a Band-Aid. And I'm like, which I already know, because Big Pharma is in DC. Like all the time. So I told Bill one night, I said, but I'm about to stop taking this diabetes medicine, the insulin, the blood pressure shit and all that. I'm just gonna work out. She's like, babe, you can't. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it I'm gonna die anyway. But I don't know when, so I might as well just go ahead. 80 pounds. Still was feeling the certain effects of blood pressure. Once I got to like 100, I just noticed how the diabetes just went away.
Wow.
I just noticed how because I was drinking juice and certain reactions like skin, I'll get like pimples or something or boils and I wasn't getting them. Then I noticed I ain't had to keep taking blood pressure medicine. And I went to the doctor and her husband, because she's a Black and Dominican lady, her husband's African. And he just was going off on me in the office. You gotta take your medicine. I mean, he's sitting there yelling to the point I stood up like, dude, I'm about to knock your bitch ass out. Like that back home came out. So, get out my office, get out my office. And the Spanish lady stopped and she's like, Mr. Chummy, he's mad because he can't supply all those medications.
Right.
I said, bow. All right. Now I'm about to switch out a lot. No more candy. I'll have fun days or something, a small bag of Doritos or something. But then I started reading up a lot of these things, these chemicals, and I'm like, nah, I still have my fun days too. You know what I'm saying? I'll get a nugget from Chick-fil-A or something here and there because I had to eat
nugget.
A nugget, literally. Like I don't be buying the whole 24. Nah.
So how has dealing with the, what you go through physically, and even like you said a second ago, how you're in pain, pretty consistently, how has that, because you still do music. I saw a video the other day where you actually performed and you went in, and I know that took some strength for you to even to do that. So how has that, do you still write? Is it, what's coming out of you?
I have a lot of music that's been just saved up.
Sorry.
Going through this is a lonely process. Everyone sees you going to dialysis, but they don't feel what you feel. If I would have known at 8 or 9 years old, somebody came to me and said, this is what you're going to do, I would have got on to what I was supposed to do a long time ago.
Yeah.
There are days you can be on the machine and it feels like the machine is literally trying to pull your kidneys out. It'll make your legs numb. It can make it cramp. It'll make your body cramp. Sometimes I get out of dialysis and this finger here would just be sitting over here. And I have to. And the surgeries for me, everybody's story and trials and tribulations of kidney disease are different, but they're all the same to a certain degree. And when I moved to Atlanta, I lost a lot of friends from back home, or we just came to bigger disagreements. But I'm the type of person, I can always disagree with you and still love you. But I had to realize that I learned going through this, I had to learn how to let go. A family, certain family members I don't talk to no more. When I was in the hospital, no one called. No one. It was sad. I cried a lot saying that I'm alone. No.
It didn't inspire you.
I felt like God wanted me to be in the dark for some reason, because eventually there'd be some type of light, and I'm still in the dark. And after trying to heal from 22 surgeries, I had 22 surgeries, and I still don't have nothing working here to do dialysis. I have a port in my chest, which is called a catheter. And they just put this big needle in that big vein that's close to your heart, and that's where the
medicine go.
Yeah, and the thing is, I have to find a port, because if it keeps pulling from my heart, it's gonna make my veins smaller to the point I might not be able to do dialysis. And I'm gonna have to just sit in the room and go whenever God's ready. Because I don't have to transplant. And plus, I'm moving, so I have to start over again because I'm moving to Fort Worth, which I think I'm gonna settle there. I learned that people are insensitive to diseases. I'll say some transparent things, and the most ignorant thing, you gonna be all right. Well, motherfucker, come take my kidneys.
You're right.
Come take them and see how you feel Like, really see how this shit feels. Take them. Come home and come do this dialysis for me, and tell me how out of breath you feel when you get off. Or the days that you're overload on liquid, because having too much liquid can damage your other organs now, because it's not coming from the kidneys. Come see that. Come home with me when, oh man, I can eat this little pizza with the salad, and now I'm nauseous.
Yeah.
And oh shit, and I'm throwing up. But that's one of the signs that when I was in Atlanta, I'm like, okay, I can't hold nothing down. I couldn't hold the bathroom down. I couldn't hold food down. But I kept telling my wife, give me one more day. Just give me one more day. And when the doctor told me, he was like, Mr. Stroman, he was on the verge of dying. Then I ended up getting a blood infection, which was starting to attack my nervous system. And I kept telling him one more day, because I'm like my dad. I don't want to go to the hospital. I seen my father laying dead in the hospital too, so it's like, and he told me, he was like, bro, you was literally 24 hours away from being paralyzed. And the next stage was you going to die. You was going to die. That blood infection, we have to get it out. So the working port that I did have, some doctor that sometimes they get clogged and they have to go get cleaned out, which is a surgery. But I end up getting feces in my blood, in which I end up getting E. coli. And it makes you shake your whole body, like you got the fevers, but you're not cold. And which made me learn to not accept myself from everybody. It made me more of an introvert. I stopped giving a lot of my heart away. I'm more careful who I say I love you to, but I'm not afraid to say I love you to a random person and still mean it. But the generosity behind it all, I'm very careful now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
The people that are sitting, right here with you, and the other people that you do know, and I hope you do know that we do love you for sure. What can we do that would, is it the calls? Is it the
sometimes it's the calls?
Yeah.
Like right now we're in the process of moving. And because I got these ports in my arm, I can't lift nothing over 5 or 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So who's gonna help me? My wife, Pat. I got some people that I put, and I can put y'all guys in the group. Some people I don't bother when I consider y'all more family. I don't want to call y'all. I don't want to bother you. Not saying that y'all won't help, but when your own family don't call you, like none of my brothers called me except for my baby brother. I had a person that I do Forex with. She was on the phone with me every day in that hospital.
Wow.
Just in case Belle can't get information, she'll call Belle. And this woman, we have never met. We get on the phone every morning till this day. And then I started learning, maybe God is removing everybody I don't need. At one point, I'm like, okay, maybe you're really removing everybody I don't need. But it's scary.
Yeah.
It's a dark place. You deal with a lot of things. Like I also have another disease called diverticulitis from when I was moving back here. I was stuck in a hotel for, I think, 10 days. I couldn't do dialysis. The food is not really leaving my body, the toxins from the food. So it started attacking my colon. And I'm feeling this pain every time I go to the bathroom. I'm thinking it's a hemorrhoid, which I end up getting. But it was like, yo, you got these pockets in your colon on the x-ray. It's diverticulitis. We got to, antibiotics. And man, for real, you just got to eat better foods. And I'm like, I was.
Right.
I just didn't do dialysis for 10 days. So when I came here, when I left Atlanta, Georgia, my weight, they do it by kilograms. I was at like 109, 110. That's literally like 228, 234-ish in pounds. When I got here, I was 121. That's literally almost 280 pounds of liquid on my body. Oof. 270 pounds. That's literally almost 40 pounds of liquid on my body. So everybody, with the, you're going to be all right and all that, sometimes I just don't respond.
Yeah.
Because I still got that nigga in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it may not be today because I'm on dialysis, but tomorrow when I got all my energy, I'm willing to pull up and beat your ass.
I know that's right.
Can you not be out here fighting folks?
No, Like, I stopped. I've really calmed down from all of that. I don't care about expressing a lot of my anger no more.
Yeah.
I literally learned how to say fuck you in 910 ways.
Yeah.
Like, I really did, and I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I don't, I got this thing now where I like looking at people stupid when they talk to me. Like, just keep blinking at them. Like I got autism or something. Because I know.
No energy for them.
Yeah, because I know who. Which is the reason why I said, what I said to you before we started this. Because a lot of them people don't know I'm really an asshole. Oh man, the Virgos.
Sace she know.
Yeah, after a while I'm cool with you and then, okay, who is this nigga talking to? Well, all right, young, look. That when that young come out, that's what
I'm gonna say this. I appreciate you. I appreciate your transparency, and being willing to share what you're going through, and I commend you for being transparent and just open with us, because we do love you and appreciate you, and
I appreciate it,
and lift you up, and we're rooting for you to get better, so that we can get more art from you and more of that big heart from you as well.
I ain't even worried about the art. I'm just worried about you.
Hear some of the stuff
and the love.
When everything's over with. But when I tell you, I think I cried like for 7 days straight.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I said, though you gotta get up and do something, because it even took my writing abilities away.
But so that's why you here. That's why you're here, because we need to make sure that we give people like you and Choke. I know the term is going around very loosely here, giving you your flowers today. I want to give you your marijuana leaf today. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
I want you to know that you are loved.
Yes.
One thing I am working on in therapy is making sure that I do check on my friends a little bit more. So I do apologize.
Times you hit me. I was at home in Georgia, and I definitely appreciate. That's why I said I didn't. Certain people I really keep close, I just don't bother them, because I don't know what people are going through.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't really know, and I don't want to be selfish.
We all going through stuff, but at the same time, it's okay. It's okay to reach out, and I think that what I'm hearing too is that, like, in all of this, like it has really changed so much in you.
Man.
Like, you've calmed down a lot. Like same like traveling for me and going through the things. Like it is by nature that as you get older, you're going to change and evolve, and you're gonna, whatever you once were, you're going to change into a new. And this is beautiful for you.
Even transparent, I won't put it out there, but I knew when I was going through what I was going through in Atlanta, I knew you was going through your situation, because without you telling me, my spirit was telling me. I knew you was going through something, because my spirit was telling me. You know what I mean? And I couldn't reach out to y'all because I needed y'all to heal, because I might not be in a position and mentally of the capacity of in that heal space. Right. So whatever y'all going through, heal. But it did. But when I did get into that dark space, when I'm facing it, all the music that I was writing, all the music that I was writing about relationships, letting go of people, still loving them, but loving them with a long-handled spoon.
Right.
Finally talking about the certain things of my mother still being on crack, but still trying to take care of 3 kids. But oh man, I got
it's
there. I even wrote about my kidney disease. How people was talking bad about me, not knowing I'm literally in the hospital in the death bed.
Yeah,
literally. And the only thing I didn't do is put the phone, because when I do music, I talk about my life. And I was about to take the phone call that I had from a certain person that called, that is my sister, about my family that is sitting here talking about me like a dog on the street. And I just said, yo, I can't keep crying for that. I gotta cry for me.
Yeah.
And then it was days, like I said, for months. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk. I had to crawl to the bathroom. It was days. I remember one time for 3 months I couldn't turn my neck. Just had to, because of this side effects of kidney disease, you can easily get gout and all of this other stuff now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I cried. I'm like, God, I lost all that weight, and you still giving me lessons. And I just, at one point, I'm getting closer to God too.
Yeah. That's a beautiful thing.
Y'all, I'm like, because I used to say as a kid when I used to get abused, like, God, you really must don't love me, bro. For me to see this, all of these murders, I'm traumatized. I can't talk to my parents about what they're doing. And then I get beat. I get beat if I don't want to cook crack when my father's making me. And I'm like, God, you must don't love me. What did I do? Yes, have I hurt people? Yeah. Have I made amends with a lot of those people? Yes. There's people that I've hurt physically. And not knowing that I'm fighting my demons of trauma and being abused. Because at school, that's everybody knew me. Once I moved to Maryland and started going to school out Laurel, everybody know me from being my big brother's little brother. But man, that fat motherfucker can fight. That's all he's going, like, he got, and to the point my teachers were like, bro, you got good grades, what is wrong? And I'd be in the back of my mind like, bitch, you don't know me. Because you don't know what hurt I'm holding in.
Yeah.
And I held in a lot of pain going through the kidney disease as well, but letting it go because now I focus on the pain that I have now. Like I said, I get ulcers. Sometimes learning about them now, about the phosphorus, and because all of your drinks, it's like not this, but dark sodas and juices that have this thing called phosphorate and
not phosphorus. But I'm just saying, it's sugar. It's a whole rack of shit in that.
Yeah, this can raise my potassium because it's a light soda. But outside of that, that's what I'm saying. I have to reconstruct what foods can I eat now. What foods I can't eat.
But it's a blessing that you are going through that, and it's a blessing that you're sharing. And I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to share. I want to talk to Choke a little bit about some of the things that she does.
Since I can't have the Sprite. No, I'm just saying because she made mention to it.
But let's talk a little bit, Choke, about, because you are a what I call a very multi-talented, outside of just being super intelligent, whether it be because of your travels or your reading and the things that you get into. But when it comes to, because I feel like even the things that you do with your meditations and the sound baths and the herbs, and it's really centered around healing, but also your art is. So just tell the audience, the people who don't know you, how did you get into
any of it?
How did you get into the arts?
Well, that's a whole nother podcast, but I mean, I think we do things when we like, a lot of times we'll do stuff when there's lack, right? So it's like there's something we didn't have, so you either strive for it or you find it along the way or whatever. But anyway, as Doe was telling his story, I'm listening and I'm like, all of that trauma though, you brought it to the stage, because we essentially grew up together, like out there on stage performing together and in the same clubs and in the same spots. Like, that's something we were talking about before we started this podcast.
That is so awesome.
That, Doe and I have known each other since I was like 19, which is great because even Ed here in the room, we've known each other since I was about 19 too, I think. Wow. Like 19, 20 years old. So it feels really, really beautiful right now in this moment to be sitting here in the DFW and have like Baltimore, DC, VA, all of us in the room.
My mother's from there.
That's dope.
And just knowing that these folks have seen like a journey, and I've witnessed y'all in your journey, and two beautiful black men that I love very, very much, and just to see us as artists, because he does hip hop as well. So just all of us in our journeys and all of the pain and all of the things that we have been through up there. That common bond was our creativity and our expression, and to me, hip hop, art, graffiti, dancing, all of that we had up there was our coping mechanism, whether we knew it or not, and it's a beautiful release. And anyway, I mean, a lot of the stuff so herbalism and the study of herbs and teas and healthy lifestyle, it came out of me not having proper health care. Like I didn't, being an entrepreneur, not working for anyone but myself, I've always had to take care of myself as I've been out in the world. So how do you do that? Like, I've had depression. I had to look up, so let me look up herbs. How do I eat so I can battle that? Like, just studying little things like that and getting books and just like literally, and like one of my first books, it was like this thick. It was like this herbal encyclopedia and just like how to eat right and things like that. But then, also being on Georgia Avenue all the time by Howard and going to Everlasting Life and Soul Veg and all these spots and
bomb cookie.
Yeah, just having that around all the time, like it could have been a million different ways, but to be surrounded by conscious Black folks, like always, and your upbringing like that, like.
Because right across from Howard, there's a McDonald's that's been there since we was babies.
Right. And then we had, the herb shops and stuff like that. And so anyway.
Oh, on Georgia Ave too, yeah. Yeah. A lot of the Jamaicans.
Mm-hmm. So, just like if there was any kind of issue that I had, I would always go to this book and look up and say, okay, well, here's it. And then again, like traveling, right? So when you go to Japan, they got different teas and different herbs. You go to Thailand, that's a whole nother level of,
herbs.
Herbs and different food things too. That they do. Their peppers, their chilies, all the things, like they bring things out of you. It's to cleanse your body, and it's so raw and so pure and so whole. The foods are whole. I mean.
And I've learned since going on my journey that this peninsula that the government lives on, we have the most banned foods.
Oh yeah.
Like I grew up loving, make some tuna salad or something.
Yeah.
Where the Ritz crackers at?
Right.
Ritz crackers is
I mean, I'm thankful that like my mother, being Puerto Rican, like we had good Puerto Rican food in the house, and my dad was a chef, and so I had like a variety of just an open mind even in that, so there was always this curiosity, and I'm always naturally gravitated towards. So anyway, that was on the herb and the health tip, and then art, I've always done that. I mean, my base was in, graffiti. It's just what it was. I mean, that's just what that was. It's just what that was.
So that's how you started off, was as a graffiti artist?
So graffiti and photography was my real start, because I really wanted to paint live. I wanted to paint, and I remember going to the galleries and being like, what is this? What are these people talking about? This was so pretentious. And I just remember like being like, nah, this ain't me. And then I started seeing folks out in the street just getting busy at night on the trains. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I want.
Shout out to Disco Dan.
And so, and so going out there, and when you're first starting out, everything's, it's kind of wag. You're just kind of messing around and learning and whatever. And then, so it
what's
just kind
crazy,
of
not trying to cut her off. Most, even though she's Puerto Rican, back home she's Black. You know what I'm saying? But most eclectic Black children are the only ones that get into art in DC. Like, I'm just a hood nigga that was just talented, so I can emulate a person playing on the drums, which that's how I learned how to play the drums. Foot and hand and lap, playing with my foot. Then went home and like, Mom, I want a drum set. You know what I'm saying? I saw my cousin told me how to play one Congo beat. Started listening to it. Now I'm listening to all these other go-go bands, and now I'm a Congo player. Like, I've been all over the damn near world playing go-go. However, most people look like she's just a club. Like, not in a weird way either. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I remember we used to have a chapter a chapter of your art called War Kids or something like that. She'll draw these babies that's in overseas
with the guns,
like in Ghana and all that, with these guns, but the shading of their faces be different color. It can be green, blue right here, and gray, and purples, and like everybody was like, yo. And she'll do it live.
Yeah.
Like freestyle it.
So you was live.
Yeah,
so
that was how I got out of my shell. Was like, you know, I always wanted to be in the clubs. I always wanted, well, not be in the clubs because I wasn't a clubber. Like I wanted to be social, but I'm such an introvert.
On your face.
Right, was introverted. So
nobody saw her face.
Nobody, nobody for years. Nobody would see my face.
I knew what she looked like, but nobody.
And
you take your mask off.
No, you still do that on social media.
People used to try to
quite often.
Too, like,
I was quick with it. Yeah, I was quick with it. You put a camera in my face, I'm like, yo. But you know, so anyway, yeah, just kind of going into the shows and just wanting to be around the elements and the folks and just like how do I grow up? Like how do I be around, you know, how do I do this? But then I would come in with my paints and my canvas and my easel and I would just show up, set up on stage, and next thing you know, I'm painting.
Tell the people what choke stands for.
Oh, choke stands for creating her own kinetic energy.
Yeah,
and it'd be crazy because we be doing hip hop shows, and I'd be sitting there like, my sister don't got no damn. She know damn well she ain't supposed to be up in here. Right, all these hood at like
real young. Well, not that, but just young. Just young, being out there by myself.
It's the whole uptown. In here, in different boroughs. But she didn't care. Like,
I didn't care.
Yeah, she
couldn't tell me that.
While we on that,
fair back home for real.
While we on that, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up because the Colson gonna kick us out. Right. I did forget, even though I know. Why don't you tell us what Cigapom means?
Oh
yes,
deliver on emotions. Can I get a peace of mind?
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And where can they find you on the socials if you want them to find you?
I mean, you can go to Instagram or Facebook, and I mean, I might not accept you, but on Instagram, definitely. Right. But Cigapom, DoCigapom. You can also get some of my music at docigapom.bandcamp.com, or just go to my website, docigapom.com, and get the latest project I dropped last year before moving back home. But Cool. You will be getting the new Law-Key 2 soon.
Hey.
Nice.
You'll be getting some music that's from Campion Bond and me. That's from Dallas.
He's dope. Dope producer.
Real thing this. Bomba clock. But there's some Oakland producers that I'm working with that is known, which got me to do a verse with Fabby Davis.
We're gonna hear something new. We're gonna hear something new. We're gonna hear something.
Sure. I mean, like I said, I'll definitely play some stuff for y'all too right before we leave. But like I said, you will be getting a lot.
We got a few folks that like to be up on the mic. I'm trying to hear something.
You know who blew my like when I heard her ass rap? I said, I know this wench ain't. Bell.
You got to call her that. You got to call her wench when she raps. You got to.
Because I was like, that's what I don't know this girl since I done moved to Texas. This wench can rap.
She goes in. She goes in.
And then started singing. I'm singing like
wank.
That's the thing back home, back there when your best friend or something. What's up, wank? Or hooker?
And tell the people about Bruja.
Yeah.
Tell the people a little bit about
more. So I shut down Bruja Market. Okay. And now I have I have launched Arte Tico.
Okay.
And so if you I think it's still under Bruja Market, but if you search it on Instagram, it should be arte.t.co.
Okay.
You'll be able to find that on Instagram.
Because you are still doing the herbs and the meditation sound
I'm waiting on my tea meditation group, by the way.
I'm trying to do the sound bag.
You say what?
I'm waiting on the tea meditation. That's what I'm
ready to do.
Come
through on Sunday. I have on Sunday I'm having a
I know you know though. There's teas out here meditation that can liberate you, like put you in another world.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to go there yet.
Without like ayahuasca and all of that. Nah, I'm talking about there's just natural teas where, because I found out about matcha.
Matcha's amazing.
Ooh, my wife has left me alone. I'm trying to tell you, that thing.
Well, I'm gonna come see you.
That matcha Sunday, is another herb too that we can take. And I'll tell you. Like, I got an extension cord out this motherfucker.
We'll come through on Sunday. We're gonna break bread and so
I think you got one on the 8th, right? I mean on the 19th.
On the 20th, Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday, 20th.
I'm gonna try to make that one.
Well, that we got to wrap it up. If you notice, we did not do the sexual positions. I know you're sad.
We can get to that. I mean, if you don't mind us doing it real quick, I can talk about it.
Oh Lord!
Just know that you all should be repenting because a new year is coming through, and you've had too many dick and balls in your mouth. And you've had pussy and titties in your mouth that did not belong to you.
That's
so
hilarious.
if you were being a skeezer during Scorpio season and Sace didn't get no pussy, fuck ya. Fuck ya. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to my brother Caution. Shout out to Choke. Those Cigapom, my sis over here,
Soulfly,
the good gentleman over here. What was your name one more time? Ed. Nice to meet you.
Machete
Bell in the back. We are doing it pretty amazing. I appreciate the talk. Thank you guys for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing your.
Thanks for having us.
I want to say something before y'all
follow us.
Before y'all
right
all
below Sace and Soulfly. Yes, sir.
Before you leave, anybody that's watching, hearing, or listening to this, dear black men, it is okay to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Please learn how, because I'm about to cry, bro, because it's real. Learn how to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Black women.
And ask for help.
It is okay to ask for help. Learn how to be vulnerable. Learn loving yourself is more than just like pedicures and manicures and going on vacations. It's learning how to be vulnerable. It's learning how to be honest with yourself. It's learning how to take accountability when somebody gives you a problem and you see facts and truth to it. Learn to, but my black brothers, and I'm talking about my hood brothers, please learn how to be vulnerable.
Yes, indeed.
And
amen. That's a great way to end it. We appreciate you. We love you.
Love each other. We out.
We out.
Peace, peace, peace.
Love you.
Peace.
All right.